Hey, Rich Stitzel here from DrumMantra.com. Thanks for joining me today. I'd like to invite you to do an exercise that will challenge your hands maybe, your coordination a little bit, but mainly your mind, your ability to concentrate and focus on what's going on. So what we're going to do is play 16th notes, unaccented. We're in 4/4 time. We're going to accent the downbeats for one measure, and then we're going to accent the E's for one measure, which means the accent goes to the left hand because we're in right, left sticking. Then we're going to accent the ands for one measure, and then the uhs for measure, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 E, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. That's the pattern. That's the whole phrase. It's a 4-measure long phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to play that over and over and over and over and over again. In fact, we're going to play it 32 times in a row. We're going to play that 4-measure long phrase 32 times in a row. Now, what we're going to be hearing while we're playing that exercise is a click. The click will be on the downbeats for 4 bars. So we'll go through the entire accent structure, hearing a click on the downbeat. And then the next 4 bars, the click is going to move to the E's. And we're going to play our entire 4-measure long accent structure. Then the click moves to the ands, and we play that entire 4-measure accent structure. And then the click moves to the and we play that entire 4-measure accent structure. And then the click repeats, goes back to the downbeat. We continue. We do that whole thing 32 times of the whole 4-measure long accent structure. As the click continues to move in a macro form every 4 bars, our hands are doing the same accent structure on a micro level every 4 beats. Every 4 beats, our hands change accents. Every 4 bars, the click changes accents. Don't get lost. Stay focused. The whole point of this exercise, this is a very simple exercise. Right, left sticking with accents that move from hand to hand. Very simple. The point of this exercise is to stay focused, to concentrate, and to keep your place, because if you play more than 32 repetitions of this phrase, then you lost your place. If you play less, you lost your place. So we want to begin and end the exercise at the same time, which means we've been paying attention to these 4-bar phrases, 32 4-bar phrases. Now, before we start, I want you to just think about how you're going to count a 4-bar phrase 32 times. You know, you might hear things in 4-bar phrases. You might hear things in 8 or 16-bar phrases. So 4-bar phrase 32 times. That's the same as a 4-bar phrase 8 times, 4 times. Or it's a 4-bar phrase 16 times, twice. So think of the numbers. Just get that in your head about how you're going to sense and how you're going to imagine these different chunks, because there's lots of different size chunks of time that are going by. So you want to train yourself to start hearing things in phrases, train yourself to stay focused, pay attention. Now, not only are we paying attention to the phrases, but you're also paying attention to how are you playing the surface, whether it's a pad or a drum. Are your accents high and loud, and your unaccented notes very low and soft? Because that's the goal. The goal is to have big accented notes and very small unaccented notes. Okay? So be paying attention to your hands as well, but the main thing is, let's make sure that we end at the exact same time. We're going to repeat the 4-measure long phrase 32 times. So it lasts about 6.5 minutes. So make sure you have your pad, your sticks, you're comfortable, you're ready. And I'm going to hit go. We'll hear a click. We'll hear a 2-measure click, and then we're in. Stay focused, stay present. Make sure we end at the same time. Here we go. right, great job. How did you do? Hopefully you ended when I ended. Now, there are a lot of different ways to count that. We have the little micro things of counting measure to measure to measure to measure, but that's 4 measures times 32. That's what, that's a lot, 128? 128 measures. So it's hard to count measures because there's a lot of them. 4 group chunks, there's 32 of them. Now, if you noticed, we hear the scale going up, 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 up. There's 8 notes to go from octave to play the entire octave of the scale. So you could pay attention to what note you're on. That's the first note. Here's the second note. Here's the third note. And that keeps you in place where we're going 4 times per note. That equals 32. So lots of different ways to start to hear a phrase. Now, the trick about hearing a phrase with so much repetition is there's not a lot to latch onto. I mean, when you're listening to, like if you're learning an AABA form of like a bebop jazz head or something, you have different sections of the melody. You have 2A sections, which is 8 bars and 8 bars, very easy, long melodies, and then the B section, which is a little bit different melody in a different key, and then go back to the A. It's very easy to kind of determine where you are in a AABA form for 32 measures. But when you're playing at 32 repetitions of a 4-bar phrase with only 1 measure's worth of information, it becomes a little bit more necessary to dial in your mind and be able to focus on exactly what's happening. Now, I gave you fence posts. It makes it possible for our mind to still check out. So sometimes you might say, okay, I'm going to figure out this formula, and then I don't have to pay attention to what I'm doing. I can just check out and just sort of pay attention to the notes, and by the time it gets to the final note, I know I've got this amount of time to go. I'm done. I'm good to go. So yes, you can do that, and it is good to be able to figure those kinds of parameters out, because the more ways that you can attack and approach a concept, the better. The thing is, you want to keep yourself from letting your mind wander. So whatever it takes to make sure that you stay as concentrated as possible. It's very hard for us to pay attention to the fact that we might be thinking about dinner, or we might be thinking about the gig well, it's still COVID, so probably not thinking about a gig right now. But you know, you want to be able to pay attention to right here, right now. We want to train ourselves to be as present as possible in the moment that we're in. Practicing is the practice. The practice is the practice. So we want to find the richness and joy and work and aliveness right here, right now. We don't want to have this exercise be a means to an end. We don't do this exercise because it's going to prepare us for that thing in the future. We do this exercise because we're doing this exercise, period. Stay with it. Stay in the moment. Now, when you're playing a groove on the kit, stay with that. You're not thinking about this exercise that we just did when you're on the kit playing a groove. The same thing. You're not thinking about playing the kit while you're doing this exercise. So whatever it is that you're doing, do it fully to the best of your ability with all of your effort and concentration. Now, as drummers, we really pride ourselves in being able to multitask, being able to control each limb and do something different. That's a dangerous place to be, because if we start to believe that we can pay attention to this and pay attention to that and pay attention to that all at the same time, it's not possible. You can only have your attention at one place. If you're in the future, if you're in the past, you're in your mind. The only time that you're present is when you're actually here, feeling the pad, feeling the sticks, hearing the play along, feeling the air, feeling the muscles, hearing the sound. All of those things are what keeps you grounded in the present moment, this physical place that you're in. If you're in the future, you can't be in the future anytime except in your mind. You can't be in the past anytime but in your mind. So those are really good signals to let you know, are you present or not? If you're thinking in the future, if you're thinking in the past, you're not present. Your body is present, but your mind is not present. So make sure that your body maintains presence by paying attention to all the physicality of what's going on, the hand movement, the temperature of the air, where, you know, the sound of the music, your breath. Make sure you keep breathing. So all these things keep you grounded in the moment. When you're grounded in the moment, you're really training yourself at the highest level. So take that into consideration when you're practicing anything or doing anything. If you're practicing an exercise on the pad, that's what you concentrate on. If you're playing a groove on the drum set, that's what you're concentrating on. If you're doing the dishes, that's what you concentrate on. The Zen saying, chop wood, carry water. Chop wood, carry water. Be present in the moment that you're in. Do the activity fully, and that will bring the richness and joy out of the experience. Instead of using it, like I said before, instead of using this as a means to an end, some unknown end out there, if I practice and practice and practice and practice, then I'll be able to do this. Be in the practice right here, right now, without that need to project out why you're doing it. We're trained to think that we do something because it will turn into something else eventually. That's a very, very common way that all of us think. Work, reward, work, reward. If I do this, then this will happen. The problem is there's not a connection. There's not a connection to doing this because you're always thinking this is going to lead to that. This is going to lead to that. It might, but if it doesn't, then what have you been doing? Are you happy? Are you enjoying the moment that you're in, or are you getting through this moment because you know that it's going to get you to this next step? Yes, it will get you to the next step. You will continue to become a better player, a better thinker, a more, expressive artist, but always engaging in the thing that you're doing is where the richness and the fullness of your experience comes from. Okay? So good luck on that. I want you to think about that a lot. And no matter what you're practicing, just try to be in the moment with what you're practicing. It's a challenging thing. It's challenging for all of us. Social media, YouTube, it's made it very challenging for us to stay concentrated because it's so easy to go to the next thing, go to the next thing. It's so easy to watch the next video, watch the next video, watch the next video. So don't let yourself, it's great to go down those rabbit holes, and we get a lot of inspiration and motivation from going down these rabbit holes of social media, YouTube, etc. But when you're practicing, practice staying here, practice staying now, practice the moment, practice being in the moment. Then, no matter what exercise you're working on, you're going to enjoy and experience it to its fullest. All right, have a good one. Talk to you soon. Take care.